of you, a very good evening to everybody that is able to join me live. And for those that will be watching the replay, you're also welcome. I did this WordPress lab, DIY WordPress lab, because I kept on coming across people that really needed help with WordPress. And they'd say things like, I get frustrated with WordPress and I don't know what to do with WordPress. And WordPress is so, there's such a learning curve with WordPress, and I want to build a blog, but all this tech stuff is really tripping me up. And I know that there are a lot of you there that are either beginners, or maybe you're not even a total beginner, but you really want to switch to WordPress, but it scares you. I'm here to tell you that it doesn't have to scare you. I personally think that WordPress is one of the best platforms out there for content management. And when I talk about content management, just blogging, websites, whatever it is you want to do, you can really build a very robust website using WordPress, okay? And let me know if you can hear me. If you are on my website watching this, let me know you can hear me, okay? Good. I can see that my sound is working, but just to make sure that you can hear me. All right, great. And so for those of you that don't know me or are not very acquainted with me, my name is Gertrude G. Nontra. I am a blogger. I'm the owner of myonlinebizjourney.com, where I dedicate my time to helping creative solopreneurs launch an online presence from scratch using blogging and using social media, okay? Because I know how it is to start from absolute scratch. It was just in 2011 that I started blogging, and I knew nothing about blogging. I knew nothing about the world of online business. I knew absolutely nothing. And fast forward to today, February 2016, I've been able to generate online income using online courses and also freelancing, and I'm really excited about that. And I feel like I owe it to other people who are just starting out, to help them. So that is why I'm hosting this class. That is why I do everything I do. That is my motivation behind my blog, to really help people that really want to do this but don't know where to start, are overwhelmed with the information out there and really want to learn. All right, and that's why I'm hosting this. All right, great. So I have my cup ready, and so we're going to get started, okay? All right, because I don't want to waste time. This class should last about an hour, no more than an hour and a half, but I want to make sure that it's really packed with value and that you get, your time's worth of info from watching this class, okay? All right, great. So first things first, maybe you're asking, so Gertrude, why WordPress? And I know that sometimes when we talk about WordPress, there are people that say, well, what's the difference? Because there are two flavors of WordPress, right? There's the WordPress.com sites, and then there's the self-hosted WordPress.org sites, okay? Now, WordPress.com is just kind of like, they host your website for you. So you can go to WordPress.com, register a domain, whatever, for free. And you don't even sometimes have to pay them, but you'll have, whatever your domain is, .wordpress.com, and that's kind of long to have people come to. So sometimes some people opt to pay them, I think it's $20 to host their website. And so they pay WordPress.com $20 or something. I don't know how much it is now. I remember back in the day it was like $18. And then you get to register a domain. But the thing is, with WordPress.com, it's WordPress that is hosting the site for you. You don't really own the content. You don't really own the files, because a website is made up of different files, okay? And so when you're hosting everything there, you don't really own the files. You may own the content, you may own, because it's your creation, right? It really is your creation. Oh, it's working, but it's repeating and buffering. Oh, I see this and that. Oh, I think is that you, Sarah? Yeah, I don't know, because I have it. That's interesting. It should get better on the let me see. I see that somebody just commented, and I'm just making sure that everything is going well, because the person says it keeps on buffering. I want to make sure that everything is going well. Yeah, I see that happening. I think sometimes that happens with WordPress a little bit. I said WordPress happens with this what's this called, Google Plus, a little, the Hangouts a little bit. So what I'll say is, sometimes you can go out and come back in, or you can watch it on YouTube. Okay, so maybe click on the icon and watch it on YouTube. I really don't have an explanation for why that happens, but hopefully everything goes well from here on out. Okay, I'm really sorry about that, guys. Alrighty, and if we keep on having problems, let me know. And maybe I'll move devices. I don't know. But anyways, okay. So let's keep moving, and hopefully everything will work in the end. All right. So I was talking about WordPress.com. So you don't absolutely own the WordPress.com, right? But with WordPress.org, you are self-hosting. So you go to a company like Bluehost, or I use Fat Cow, or Small Orange, or whatever, you know, your choice of host is based on the research that you have done. And once you choose that host, you say, I want you to host my website. So you buy a domain, but this time you own the files to the website. Okay, that's the big difference. Now, the big difference is that you own the files to the website. All right, and I'm checking. Is anyone else having problems with the video buffering? Yes, it seems like people are having problems with the video buffering. Let me just answer this question. All right. We'll make sure that this is going to work today. Right? It does say everything is, my network is pretty strong. So, hopefully everything works out. I'm praying and hoping everything works out and that we don't keep on having this issue. Okay. Let me know. Oh, it's okay now. Okay. That's good. I'm praying that it works all the way through, guys. That nothing else goes awry. Okay. And there's still the replay for it. So if there is an issue with, because I have two screens right now, making sure everything is going well. So if there are issues, just know that there will be a replay, and hopefully with the replay, everything will, usually with the replays, everything is smoothed out. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to go on teaching. All right. So great. So WordPress.org, you own the files and it's yours. All right. So that's the big difference. And that's why I prefer WordPress.org, because you own it. You own it. Nobody can take it away from you. Nobody can say they're shutting down. Well, I mean, sometimes hosting companies shut down, but you could download the files prior. You can host your own files and so on and so forth. But having a self-hosted WordPress site is the best thing that you can do for yourself. Okay. All right. So now let me just share my screen with you. All right. And show you the agenda for today. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen, sharing a screen. All right. Okay. Open up the presentation. Great. Okay, great. Now, so you're all welcome to the DIY WordPress Lab. And today on the agenda, I just already talked about why you want to choose a WordPress.org site versus a WordPress.com site. Okay. And I'm going to talk about WordPress settings. We're going to log into my dashboard. I'm going to show you, how to set things up so that things look pretty and nice for you. All right, I'm going to show you how to install and manage your WordPress themes, where to get some of the best WordPress themes. I'm going to talk about some of the best plugins that you absolutely should have, protecting your site from hackers, the basics of Google Analytics, driving traffic to your blog, email list basics, and then running things from your WordPress host. Okay, and so listen, by the end of this, I trust that your frustration with WordPress would have reduced a whole bunch. All right, I don't promise to like eliminate every single fear about WordPress, but certainly you will be more confident about what you're doing when it comes to WordPress. Okay, so I'm gonna minimize this for a bit. And we're going to go into my dashboard because I want to get right into the content. So here is my dashboard for my WordPress site, okay? And I guess, at this point, if you're taking this class, I'm assuming that you've already bought your hosting, you've already bought your domain, and you've already uploaded or downloaded, whatever. You've already installed WordPress onto your host, okay? So I'm assuming you've done these things already, all right? So if you've done all this already, this is the WordPress dashboard, really easy. All right, one of the things that I absolutely recommend you doing is coming here. If you see where my little cursor is right now, where it says Howdy Gertrude, okay, I want you to come here and edit your profile. Go in there and edit your profile. You know why? Because if you come in here and you edit your profile, every time you comment on a WordPress site, okay, so let's say, you come and edit it, you add in your picture, you add in your bio. There are different things that you can edit, you can do. Let's edit my profile, okay? All right, so we're going to scroll down. You can choose the color of your dashboard. Obviously, I have the ectoplasm right now. You can show the toolbar while you're viewing site. You can do so many things, okay? So you can just come in here and really read the different options that you have and set things up for your profile, okay? Your username, the name that you use every time you write on somebody else's site. And what's important here is your email, because when you go to comment on another WordPress site, okay, and you put in this email, WordPress automatically picks up on your profile and pulls your picture in, so that when you comment, you're not just a figurehead, you're not just like some random gravatar or icon, but your picture shows up. And this is really important if you're trying to build relationships with other bloggers, okay? And I have a little spiel about me over here. I have a profile pic. You can, basically generate a password. If you're logged in somewhere else, you can log out. And so you can just pretty much go in and switch things around to your taste and desires. Okay, that's first thing. All right. So now we're going to go into WordPress settings. All right. And so when you come here, obviously your dashboard is not going to look exactly like mine, because I have different plugins and different widgets that I'm using that show up differently on my dashboard, or, on the left-hand side of my page. And so right here I have dashboard, I have different things going on. But what I really want to start showing you is setting things up in WordPress so that your website works for you and not against you, okay? So the first thing I want to talk about in settings is general. I'm not going to go through every single one. The three most important ones I want to talk about are general, okay, right here, general, reading, and permalinks. Those ones I really want to talk about, okay? So we're going to go into general. And once you click in general, you will see different things about your site. My site title. Every time, if you guys can see up here on my screen, you will notice that when you bring up a website, it has a name, right? So for instance, the Google Plus page I'm hosting this workshop on is DIY WordPress Lab, okay? And so it says so right there. When you go to my website, you'll see it says My Online Biz Journey in that little space up there. So if you're watching this on the webinar right now, you'll see that. So it's important that you put the name or the title of your site the way you want people to see it, or the way you want people to remember it right here. Maybe the name of your site is myonlinebizjourney.com, like me, but maybe you want to call it something else. I don't know. So you put that there, okay? It doesn't really have to be related to your URL. All right, but most of the time people keep it as their URL or whatever. All right, and then of course you want to customize a tagline. When I started blogging, a very popular blogger I know, who is still really popular and I really love still, had suggested that you could put specific keywords you want to rank in the Google search engines for. Okay, so for instance, for me, the tagline for my site is actionable resources for new bloggers, right? And so when somebody goes to, let's say we're going to go here and we're going to type in my online biz journey. Okay, I'm going to type that in. It's already there. And so when you just put, you know, this link up there, okay, you pull it up right here, you'll see that it will say actionable resources for new bloggers. Do you see that? Actionable resources for new bloggers. So you can really choose any tagline that you want. And so one of the suggestions that she had made was to, you know, maybe put in, like, if I wanted to, you know, rank for the keywords new bloggers, or you know, new bloggers, blogging, social media, then I would put that there. So I would just put this this straight line there, and I'd say social media, and then put it there again and put different things. Basically, that's what she had suggested. But I don't think it really has an impact on your I don't think it has an impact on SEO per se. So just put in whatever it is you want people to remember you for. And I suggest it be something that is, you know, that reminds people of exactly what you do. So for instance, let's say you sell artisan soaps on your site, and your site is about selling artisan soaps. Then you'll just say, you know, whatever, artisansoap.com. Your tagline is, I don't know, you know, your home for artisan soaps. Obviously, you can tell I'm not that creative. Your home for artisan soaps. So a tagline that people can remember you by. I think it's a good way of selling yourself. And let's say you put, you know, a link to your website on Facebook. I see that this happens a lot on Facebook. If you share it, let's say you have a sharing day on Facebook, you have a promotion day on Facebook, and you're sharing a link to your website. When your website shows up in Google's, Facebook's algorithm thingy, where your website comes up, it pulls the tagline also. So people will say, okay, myonlinebizjourney.com, they see actionable resources for new bloggers. Oh, that sounds like a site I want to go to. So it serves several purposes. So just make sure you have that set up for you, okay? And of course, you can go down here and make sure that this little box here where it says membership, do you see that? Make sure that nobody can register. All right, or else you have people somehow registering for your site. You know, when I first started using WordPress, I did not know this. And so let me take a sip of my tea right there. And so I left it checked, and I had all kinds of emails registering for my site. I really don't know what it means personally, but it was weird. And let's say these people register and then they get a hold of your website, your address, your password, and they could probably hack into your site. You know, they could probably find out vulnerabilities in your site and really cause some damage. So make sure that is unchecked, okay? All right, because I think by default it is checked. All right, and then of course, when you uncheck that, a new default role says subscriber. You don't have to worry about that. Choose a time zone. It's helpful for me to choose the right time zone because I live in San Diego, and we're just across the border from Tijuana. So that helps for me to choose that, because then my blog posts show up in the right time zone. My analytics are in the right time zone. That's also very necessary. All right. And then all of it is just really elementary stuff, okay? So make sure that you go to general settings and change things up the way that you want your website to be displayed when you share your link anywhere, and especially so on Facebook, on a platform like Facebook, okay? All right. The next setting that you should absolutely pay attention to is the reading. Under settings, reading, okay? So we're going to go into reading. And let me see if anybody has commented on anything right here. Okay, not yet. Okay, good. So when you go into the reading settings, it's important that you pay attention to this also, because you can either set a static page up, or you can have your front page be your latest post. If you go to my blog, for instance, my front page is my latest post. I don't have a welcome page or anything like that. I just have this with a list of blog posts. And the reason why I personally like that over having a welcome page is because I saw in my analytics. So I'm a big studier or student of my analytics. And I found that when I had a front page, I was losing people on that front page who are never clicking through to read my content. Okay. And that is why, we're going to talk about analytics a little bit later, but that is why it's absolutely important for you as a blogger, as an online business person, to pay particular attention to your analytics. Don't sometimes I get into the bad habit of checking it over and over again in a day. It happens to all of us. Don't obsess over it, but certainly become a student of it so that you can succeed, because it will inform you on things that you need to eliminate, things that you need to do more of, so that you get more traffic to your site, so that you get more people's eyes on your business. Okay, so for me, that's why I don't use a static page, but you can definitely change it if you've created a static page and you want to use it as the front page of your website. Okay, you can set your blog pages to show at most how many ever posts you want. You can have it either be full text, but you can actually override this instruction when you write blog posts, so you don't, and then depending on the theme also, sometimes you can overwrite that, and make sure it says search engine visibility. And right here, make sure this box is also unchecked. It says discourage search engines from indexing the site. Why would you want to do that? You want the search engines to index your site. You want them to index your site. You want them to find your site. You want people to, when people type stuff in, you want them to be able to find your site. There's no reason why I would see you discouraging this, unless you're doing something really shady and you absolutely don't want people to find you unless they know about you. All right. All right. This really, I don't use the follower settings. I don't think it's really necessary, especially if you're building an email list and you're using something like MailChimp. You can absolutely customize it if you want, but I do not use it. Okay, I do not use this follower settings, but you can customize it. And I think it's only really necessary when you're using the Jetpack. I'll talk about Jetpack also, so don't worry. All right, so that's the second setting you want to customize. Okay, so the first one was general, second one was reading, the next one is permalinks. All right, well, let's go to permalinks. Okay, good. So now with permalinks, the reason why I suggest, and I really strongly suggest, that you change around your permalinks is because of, as for SEO purposes. For SEO purposes, okay, so that your post can be found by the search engines. All right, so there are different ways that you can set up. A permalink is simply, let's say, like I've come here to my blog, one of my blog posts. I'm just going to click on this. I wrote on January 17th. And what, the link, that the URL that comes up for that particular post is your permalink, okay? And you can customize your permalink to work against you or to work for you, all right? And I like things to work for me, all right? So personally, I think if you have like this plain permalink where it says post equals 1, 2, 3, basically it's like post number 1, post number 2, post number 3. That's not very search engine friendly, because if somebody, for instance, somebody goes to look for, puts in, let's say, why should I start a service business as opposed to chasing passive income? Let's say somebody types that in Google, all right, and they search for it, and my permalink setting is post number 33. There's no way, I'm going to be found. Because one of the things that helps you with on-page SEO, all right, with optimizing your post within WordPress is the permalink. And so if your permalink says nothing about what is in the content of the post, then you're missing out on potential traffic that could be coming to your blog. So you see why you don't want to keep this as a plain permalink. So absolutely change this, all right, to something else. Then there's day and name. That's just lame. I don't know. But you can have day and name. I think that's a little better over the plain. All right, month and name, numeric. Numeric also doesn't look good. But I love this one where it says post name. Okay, and so it's the sample post. And so I came here, and my custom structure is myonlinebizjourney.com/whatever my post name is. And I can customize that when I'm writing a post. I think that is far more superior when it comes to optimizing your site for the search engines than any of these other options. Okay, so if it's possible, it is possible in WordPress, absolutely change your permalink to something that has the post name. Okay, all right. So that's how I created mine. It's post name. And, you know, it may involve a few steps, but it's really easy to set up and you can do that. All right. So that's what I wanted to talk about when it comes to settings. Of course, there are other things within settings like discussion, but I use a plugin known as Discuss. So I don't really need to, you know, do anything with discussion. This comes into play if you're using the native commenting application that WordPress has. But if you're using something like Discuss, I don't think it's necessary. All right. And of course, if you want to moderate comments, you can do that here. So really simple, but those three, general, reading, and permalinks, are what I really wanted to talk about. Okay. All right, great. So I'm going to stop screen sharing for a minute. Okay, well, maybe we'll just continue. I won't stop screen sharing. So now I want to talk about themes, okay? Let's talk about themes. There are a few places that I absolutely love to get themes, okay? And let me talk about those. There's Creative Market, Theme Forest, Elegant Themes, Restore 316, and Thrive Themes. And I'm going to show you all of these. I'm going to first of all start with Creative Market. We're going to pull this out of our way. And we're going to go to creativemarket.com. All right. So creativemarket.com. And if you sign up for creativemarket.com, you get free little thingies every week. You know, they send you free fonts. There's so much you can do with Creative Markets. Okay, there are photos, there are different kinds of graphics, templates, themes, fonts, different things. Okay, so let's go into themes. Okay, and you can choose WordPress. So I just go into WordPress, and of course you have a choice of choosing between several little things, right? Oh, oopsies. So let's do that. Let's go to WordPress. And you can really search for themes that look good for your purposes. And they're not too expensive, you know. You see this one here, Oleander, for $49, $59. They're all pretty reasonable. 36. There's one here for 36. But the ones that I remember, that my website for the theme that I have right now, which is known as Rusticity, I actually bought it for $5 on Creative Market. It was a $49 theme that was on sale for $5. And at that time, I was really trying to revamp my website. And so I just came to Creative Market because I had heard so many great things about Creative Market, and I was able to get a very clean, beautiful theme for $5. It's built on the Genesis theme. I love the Genesis theme. Okay, I know that there are other themes out there. I'm going to talk about some other themes, but if you want to get something on the Genesis theme, that is a great way to go. Okay, a wonderful way to go. And so you can absolutely look for themes that are on sale. Okay, so let's see if we'll find anything on sale. Let's see, blog. Let's look for ones that are like blog. driven. Let's search for ones that are on sale. Let's see if we'll find anything on sale. I'm pretty sure we can find on sale. Let's type that in the search box, you know, and you can find something pretty reasonable. There you go. And say, and so I just typed in on sale in the filter, and the search filter right here. And actually, if you go right here, filter, if you go into the filter, you can actually, you know, go back and forth between, because there are themes between $2 and $500. Okay. Of course, the usability of it is going to differ and going to change with you a theme that you choose. All right. And I highly recommend a responsive layout. What is a responsive layout? A responsive layout is a layout that looks good on desktop and on mobile, and you want to do that because that is currently one of the ranking factors for Google. Okay, so if you want to show, it takes a while for Google to, you know, start really sending a lot of traffic to your site, but the earlier you start doing things the right way, the better. Okay, and so if it's a responsive theme, you are far better off. Okay, so make sure it's responsive. That's one thing I want to say. Make sure that your theme is responsive. So we're just going to go and say responsive, okay? And we're going to choose between $2 and, I don't know, $43. We're just gonna, I don't know about a $2 theme, but you know, we have 32 results. And so if you're really bootstrapping, and this is, you know, something that's close to my heart, because I remember when I was trying to build my blog, I was really bootstrapping. I was in grad school, and I didn't always have all the money, and I wanted to do this. And so it meant a lot to me to be able to buy things that were really of high quality and yet were within my price range. And that's why I'm even showing you this trick, you know, because I don't assume that everybody has all the money to spend on building a blog. A lot of us have families, we have responsibilities, we have jobs, and you know, are living maybe paycheck to paycheck, or maybe, you know, you have a little left over at the end of the month, but it's still not a whole lot. You can still build a beautiful blog on a budget, run your blog on a budget, especially when you're starting out, and be unashamed of it and still have things look extremely professional. All right, so that's why this is close to my heart. All right, so obviously we see some themes here that are for $15, $39, $27. All really good looking themes, and you can simply click on any one of them and preview it. All right, and so right here we have a New Yorker theme. All right, you can do a live preview of it. It's $27 right now, and you can read everything about it, what it's built on and all that, who owns it. All right, so that's it. You can take a look, the different screenshots, how it's going to look, you know. So that's Creative Market. There's a lot that you can do with Creative Market. All right, then the next one that I wanted to talk about is Elegant Themes. And Elegant Themes has really upped their game recently, okay? They really have. I used to use Elegant Themes. I used to use them with, I used to use Divi. The Divi theme, and there we go. The little pop-up comes up. All right, so one of the most popular themes of Elegant Themes is Divi. That is also another great theme. View theme. So I talked about Genesis. Anything that is built on the Genesis framework is a great theme. Okay, a lot of it. I can't speak for every single one, but anything that is built on the Genesis framework is really, really good. But if, let's say, you know, it's not your cup of tea, then you can come over here to Elegant Themes and find a decent theme. I found, when I was using Elegant Themes, personally, I'll say that I didn't find a lot of their themes very modern, except for Divi. And that's why I think Divi has become the best-selling and best-known theme. Of course, you could use the different things that they have, but you want things that appeal. You know, I'm very much of an aesthetic person, you know, and beauty means a lot to me. And so if somebody comes to your site and things that you may have the best content, you may have great content, but if your website is not looking great and you have like a theme that looks like something that people were using in the 90s, I'm sorry, you know, but it just makes reading difficult sometimes. There are websites I've been to that people have incredible content, but because beauty means a lot to me, you know, and I'm not, when I talk about beauty, I'm not talking about like it has to have frills and ribbons, but just general beauty, and you know, general layout, clean layout. I'm really in love with that, you know, so it means a lot. So elegant themes, the Divi theme, I highly recommend. If you absolutely don't like Genesis themes, then you should get Divi, and you'll see you should be able to preview their theme. So this Lucid theme, you can do a live theme demo. All right. And then how much are they charging these days? I'm not sure how much. I remember when I joined, it was I think $37, and when you pay $37, you had access to all the themes. I don't know where their pricing is now, but it certainly is a. And I apologize if this is making your eyes dizzy. But I guess, you know, when you sign up, you find out how much it costs. But if you wanted, I think at the beginning, it started at 37, and then, you know, you could upgrade to 87 and have access to like everything, including like little plugins that they created. And even I think recently they came up with an email, something for email that you can use for email marketing, and you have access to all that. But I don't know what their pricing is right now, but I know that their Divi theme is good. All right, then Theme Forest is the next one I wanted to show you. themeforest.com. All right, and so when you come to themeforest.com, you want a responsive theme, like I was saying before. So we're just gonna go with, we're just gonna say responsive theme. Responsive theme blog. Just type that in, look for something, browse popular items, and then you get access to several themes. These ones, I find that Theme Forest is a little pricey, but you can still get some pretty good themes. Okay. Then, of course, I don't want to go through every single one, but then, of course, it's also Restored 316 themes, and then there's Thrive themes. And the reason why I added Thrive themes is because with Thrive themes, there's a lot that you can do, okay? So we're going to go to thrivethemes.com, and with Thrive themes, I think it's for more advanced users, because this is when you're building things. This is, let's say, you know, you kind of past, you know, using an out-of-the-box theme, and you want to build things that look really pretty yourself. You can definitely use Thrive themes as an option. There are different themes that they have. They even have a way for you to build landing pages so that you can collect emails, and you know, you can use landing pages for your courses and your books and your, you know, membership platforms that you may want to start. And so if that is you and you would like to build something that, you know, you want to kind of customize, then Thrive themes is definitely the way to go. All right, so that's it about themes. Now let's go back into the dashboard and let's talk about managing your theme. So obviously you see I have the Genesis, my theme Rusticity is built on the Genesis platform. And so you can go into theme settings and change this, but I don't recommend it, especially with Genesis, because then you can mess up your site really badly, okay? But what you can do is go into Appearance and then go into Themes. Okay, go into Appearance and go into Themes, and then you can customize. So you can just click on Customize and do a lot of things with it, really. But I don't recommend you going into the actual theme files to change things, okay? So there's a lot that you can do depending on your theme. You can come here, customize things the way that you want them. Different themes are going to have different elements that you can switch around. Obviously, you know, my background color is white. I could change that if I wanted to. Header image, I have my online biz journey right there. Some themes allow it, some themes don't. I don't have any background image. So there's so many things you can do. And obviously you can see that right here where it says static front page, like I was talking to you when we're talking in the settings, right? You could change either your, the front page of your site to your latest post or your static post. You can also do this in the customize function of your theme. All right. And then when you're done doing that, you can close it. Site layout. I have my content, my primary sidebar, but you could definitely change that up. And like I said, your theme may not have this, but you can customize your theme from there. Now, a word of caution. I'm going to stop sharing for a minute. Let's come back. Hey guys, what's up? Can you see me? I'm going to take a drink. My lips are dry. Do you like my cup? My cup says, "Thank God I'm fabulous." All right, great. So let me just talk about, I just wanted to put that there and just come back and look at you wonderful people. Let's talk about your theme. Okay, I've already given you different places where you can go to get really great themes that look good, because you may not be an aesthetic person, but think about your readers. Always think about your readers. Always. All right. And when you get a theme, I want you to make sure that you are updating that theme every time an update comes out. And I'll talk about this in the security section, because there are people that sometimes capitalize on they find vulnerabilities in your site. So protecting your site goes way beyond a password. So you may have a very, very strong password. There are still people that can hack into your site and cause havoc. Okay. So make sure that anytime you get a little notification in the top, and I'll show you that if you don't know where that is, you get a notification that there's something that needs to be updated, whether it's a theme or a plugin. Please, immediately, it takes you less than 5 minutes, takes you less than 2 minutes to go in there and update your theme. Go in there and update your plugins. It's going to save you headaches in the end. Let me tell you my story. If you read my blog, I told a story a few months ago about how a reader wrote to me and said, "Gertrude, I was looking for your website. I saw on Google that it says your site has been hacked." My heart sank, okay? Because like, it takes work to build these things. It takes work for me to write these blog posts. It takes work for me to update things. I'm putting my money into it. It's my baby. It's like when you're building something it's your baby, right? It's for you, and you don't want anything bad to happen to it. And so for somebody to write to me and tell me that there's this message which was displaying, which when I did go into Google and search for my site, I saw it that my site had been hacked, was very heart-wrenching for me. And what was happening was that when that happens, Google kind of blacklists your site. So I, that day had to contact my hosting company and clean up files and get rid of stuff, and eventually everything was cleared. And it took about 2 weeks for Google to finally say, okay, your website is finally clean, you've taken off the malicious files, and so we're going to whitelist your website again. And they took off that message that says, this site may have been hacked, which is kind of like a warning to people not to go to my site. And so they definitely did take it off. Now when you look for my site, you won't see that message. But you don't want that to happen to you. You don't want people putting malicious files in your website, because like I said, your website is a bunch of files. And especially when you're doing a self-hosted website where you own your files, and then there are people who are adding malicious things to your site. And the way it's very, very heart-wrenching. And the way that happens is when you have vulnerabilities in your themes and vulnerabilities in your plugins. So please don't allow that to happen. Okay, do not allow that to happen. So that's why I wanted to come on here, come on the FaceTime, have FaceTime with you, because people do capitalize on that. And so update your themes, update your plugins, okay? And if there's a theme, so I used to do this, and it's a really bad habit. So I would have several themes, because I'd be playing around with several themes in my WordPress, and then sometimes there'll be themes I'm not using. And that's what happened to me when my site was hacked, because I was using the Divi theme. I was using Divi, okay? And then I switched over to using Rusticity. So I already had Divi there, and I didn't want to, delete it from my website. I didn't want to, I guess, what's the word? I'm blanking on words today. I usually don't blank on words. But instead of deleting it, I left it in there. And the thing was that my license for Divi had expired, but I wasn't planning on using Divi anymore. So I never updated it. I just left it unupdated. And when that happened, because I still had the old version of Divi that is not supported and which had vulnerabilities, people were able to, add malicious files to those Divi files. And because I had it on my website installed in the back end, my site was hacked that way. So if you're not using a theme anymore, get rid of it. Don't, just decide, okay, I'm not going to use this theme anymore, and get rid of it. And if you absolutely want to go back to it, then you purchase it again. But don't leave things in there you're not using. Okay. All right, great. So I'm going to go back to sharing my screen with you all. Let's do this. Let's talk about plugins now, okay? All right, great. Oh, all right. So going back to talking about themes. Oh, no, not themes, plugins. All right, let's go to plugins. All right, install plugins. Okay, so there are a few plugins that I do want to talk about that I think are must-have plugins. All right, must-have plugins. And if we go to my little presentation here, I will open this up so you can see it. The very first one that I absolutely recommend you having is a plugin known as WordFence. Okay, WordFence. Now, what WordFence allows you to do is it protects your site from people that are trying to sign in. I told you that, your security is not just passwords, right? But you absolutely want to see, who is trying to sign into your site, what usernames they're using. And guess what? From using this plugin for almost a year now, guess what the most used username is admin or administrator. People are always using admin or administrator. Recently, I've seen people try to use user or username. And so if you're using any of these as your username for your login for WordPress, please change it ASAP. Please change it ASAP, okay? And make sure that you have change it. Just change it. And then once you do that, make sure you have a very strong password. Now, WordPress, you can generate your own password with WordPress by simply clicking on lost password. And then if you click on that, it will, send you an email with the email you registered with, and then you can change it. And you can have WordPress automatically generate a very difficult password for you. Personally, I don't think that's a good idea, because if you lose it, or let's say, I don't know, anything can happen. But make sure it's something that you remember, but something that is fairly difficult, where you can put it somewhere and every time you have to go into it. So like every time you have to go into your site, it's not like a marathon to find your stuff. I remember there was someone, a friend of mine, and she'll know I'm talking about her when if she watches this, who I had to do something for her WordPress site, and she couldn't remember her password for the life of her, because it was something pretty complicated that had been generated for her by this company that was trying to do her website for her. And it took us a while to get a hold of that website to get into her own site. And so yes, you can have WordPress generate a difficult password for you, but make sure you put it somewhere where it's really safe and you can refer to every single time you sign in, or choose something that you can remember, but which is pretty difficult. Okay. All right. So that's the first thing. WordFence just blocks people. And then one of the things that WordPress does, because sometimes when people are trying to hack into your site, they're going to use what is known as brute force attacks. And that is when they like sign in multiple times using like different combinations of usernames and passwords, and WordFence blocks them after a certain number of attempts. Okay. And so you'll see that. I'll show you my WordFence dashboard. If we go to my regular dashboard, all right, if we go to my regular dashboard and then we scroll down, you'll see where people have been trying to sign into my site. Let's go down. That's my word. See, somebody tried to sign in. So today somebody is trying to sign in from Ukraine, the US, France. It tells you the top countries blocked. All right. It tells you the top failed logins. People have tried to use admin 82 times, I think, just today. You know, boss, you know, so on and so forth, test, whatever. So yeah, people will try to guess your username and try to sign in multiple times, and especially if your username is admin, because people never change that. So make sure you change that. Okay, so that's what WordPress does for you. It really is what it says. It protects your site from people who just want to attack your site using brute force attacks. All right. AskIt is the second one, the second plugin I want to talk about. And with AskIt, that prevents you from getting, it helps you to stop spam comments. Spam comments are all the rage, and sometimes people leave that. And when I didn't know any better, I used to get a lot of spam comments, and you think you're getting comments, but you have all these spam comments, and it just makes, I mean, you could definitely go in and delete these spam comments, but then it makes your site look spammy. So you know, AskIt blocks all of that. Okay, AskIt doesn't allow malicious comments or spammy comments to be posted. So that's a good one to have, and especially so if you're using the native WordPress commenting system. I use Discus, and so Discus kind of blocks it to an extent, but it's nice to have an extra layer of protection with AskIt. Okay. That's the second one. Backup is another one. There's several plugins for backup. And I use backup because like I said, a WordPress is just a set of files. So if you have backup, then you can back up your site to anywhere, really. So you can back up your site on a monthly basis, on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, how many ever times you want. And the reason you want to do that is because if anything, you know, let's say we're taking all these precautions to protect our website, and God forbid something does happen. If you have all the files for your website backed up, then just like you would back up data on, let's say, a flash drive or an external hard drive, you can restore that information back onto your site. Okay, so but if you don't have any backups and somebody comes and hacks into your site and deletes all your data, deletes everything that you've ever done, then it's gone forever. Oh no, but you had all this great content. Don't let that happen to you. Back up your site. The tool that I use that is totally free is Backup, and I just back it up and it goes straight to my my hosting company, where in my file manager with my host, and I can go in there and pull things, restore things if I ever need to. Okay, so back up your site. Have that, and it doesn't do it automatically. You can kind of, if you have I use the free version of Backup, it's just called Backup, but if you do the paid version, then some of them will automatically back up your site for you. Okay, then Google Analyticator. It's just a really nice little plugin that you can use to install Google Analytics on your site, and I'll talk about that a little later. W3 Total Cache, or Cache, however you say it. It's a good plugin for your website speed. Okay, so apart from the aesthetics of your website, you want your website to load quickly, because there are studies that show that when your website does not load quickly, you lose potential readers. And potential customers, right? So make sure your website is loading fast. One of the things that allows you to do that is W3 Total Cache. And the way that W3 Total Cache does this, what it does is that it will cache your site, or catch your site, however. It will cache your site, a previous version of your site, so that when people come to your site and they're looking for something, it immediately loads your website from that cache, instead of loading everything from scratch from your your web host. All right, so that's what W3 Total Cache does, because maybe your server the server that your site is hosted on by your hosting company is having issues that day. Well, if you have W3 Total Cache, then it helps to overcome that problem when it comes to speed. Okay, so W3 Total Cache caches your site so that people can upload quickly when people visit it. I love it. It's been really great for my site. There was a time when my site wasn't loading very quickly, and the moment I installed W3 Total Cache and some other plugins, it really helped to speed up my site. Okay, so make sure your website is loading up very quickly. WP Smush. All right, this smushes, it really is what it says. It is a plugin that allows you to decrease the size of your images. One of the culprits of website slowness is images. And if you have very large images on your site, like if you come to my website, okay, if you come to my website, let's do that. I have a lot of huge images, right? In the front of my blog, and one of the things that I don't want to happen is have these images slow down my site. I love them and I want them to be there, but I don't want them to slow down my site, right? So right here you have these images. What WP Smush does, and I'll show you in the dashboard. All right, if we go into media, that's where you'll have all your images. Let's go to library. You see WP Smush over there, right? So let's go into our library, and it pulls up a library of my images. Now it will tell you that the images are reduced by a certain percentage. So what WP Smush allows you to do is that when you upload an image, I try to already, like when I'm uploading images, I try to make sure it's a small size. You can do that with a tool like you can do that in PicMonkey, where you resize things. You can do that also. I think there's one called Tiny JPEG. Tiny JPEG. I think you can do the tinyjpeg.com. You can look that up in Google, and you can minimize the size of your image while still keeping the quality, because sometimes you may have a very high resolution image, and because it's so high resolution, it is huge, right? But if you use Tiny JPEG, then you will keep the resolution, but you will still be able to reduce the size. I know, very technical stuff, but but you can reduce the size of your image. So every time I upload an image into WordPress, even if the image is huge, if it's small, okay, even if it's a decently sized image, what I can do, okay, is just when I upload it, and it will smush it and make it smaller and reduce it by a certain percentage. So you'll see that I have that all here, like 9%, 10%, 32%, so on and so forth. Okay, all right, good. So that's what WP Smush, and so then once again, that also contributes to helping your site load faster. The next plugin I want to talk about is Jetpack by WordPress.com. Now, like I was saying in the beginning, WordPress.com, right, doesn't have as many features, or you don't really own your files when you're on WordPress.com, but you do with WordPress.org self-hosted sites. But there's still some features of WordPress.com that are really useful. And one of the features that I find really useful is Jetpack. And I'll show you what Jetpack does. Jetpack it's a suite of things, okay? So let's go to Jetpack. And so I have that right here. Okay, so Jetpack. So Jetpack actually has AskIt included in it. So if you upload it. All right. So this is where it tells you about Jetpack. And one of the things that Jetpack can help you do is, let's say you have multiple WordPress sites, you can control all those WordPress sites using Jetpack. And you can just do that. So it says bulk site management from one dashboard. That's really nice. Okay, you can have automatic updates, centralized posting. So you can, because you're controlling everything, let's say you have 4 or 5 different WordPress sites and you're using Jetpack, because it's a WordPress.com tool. Okay, you can do that. You can go to WordPress.com, sign in with your username over there, and you can write different blog posts for different blogs. And instead of having to sign into every single WordPress site, so you can update everything from one spot. That's a really nice thing about Jetpack. And I do own several WordPress sites, so this is useful for me. All right, there are other features. Okay, so you can see the other features of Jetpack. All right, so I'll pull that up. All right, you can definitely come in here and take a look. And you can activate them or deactivate them, whatever you want to do. The one feature about Jetpack that I really like, and which you will also like, is being able to, these subscriptions, you can activate, well, I have it activate kind of, but you can activate it. And then when people comment on your blog, at the bottom of your blog post, there'll be like a little checkbox that says subscribe to this person's, to subscribe to the email list with one click. And they can just put that in there. You can just check that and put an email, and it goes directly to, you can link it to your MailChimp or whatever. It's really nice. Another thing, it has data backups. Some of them are also paid features, I think, with Jetpack, but you do have a lot. Another thing is, if we go to my dashboard, so Jetpack has AskIt, it has the manage multiple sites feature. It also has your site stats. Now you can use that. I have it down here. You can use that. Okay, so this is my site stats, and it gives me, what are the top posts that have been viewed on my site, and so on and so forth. But I also have Google Analytics, and I prefer Google Analytics over the site stats using Jetpack. But you can definitely use both of them as ways to measure how well you're doing. So I love Jetpack for, number 1, multiple site management, number 2, site stats, number 3, the little email sign up thing. But you cannot use it if you're using Disqus on your website. You can't really use that. Yeah, and then of course AskIt, which blocks different comments that people make on your site that are just inappropriate and that you want to avoid. Okay, so that's it for Jetpack. All right, then Yoast SEO, that allows you to optimize your posts for SEO. All right, for the search engines. Shortcodes Ultimate, I love it because it has several beautiful features. I'll show you when we go back into my dashboard. And then of course Pretty Link Light. So let me show you some really, really cool things that you can do with Shortcodes Ultimate, and then we'll move on. So if you come to my blog and you go to start here, I created this page using shortcodes. The shortcodes just gives your website so much more functionality. Like you won't believe how much function shortcodes add to your website. And I'll demonstrate that. But I was able to create this very beautiful magazine-like page using shortcodes. And I have a video on that on YouTube if you want to watch that. But it's an easy way. When people come to my blog, I say start here, and they immediately come to this page where I've categorized my blog posts. I have an image for each one of them, and they're arranged in rows. You cannot do that unless you know a lot of code. You can't really do this without a shortcode, and a shortcode helped me create this. If we come to go back to my blog, another thing that shortcodes allows me to do is create little notes within my blog post that are highlighted. So highlighted notes. So if I scroll down, All right. I have this little highlighted note telling people, hey, I have this blogging workflow I follow to grow my blog to 10,000 visits in 8 months. So download it now. Okay. And then people can go ahead and click on that. And it's a link to an email form and they can sign up to my website. So that's another thing that shortcodes allows you to do. Now, if we go into the dashboard and then let's create a dummy post. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them. I'm not against questions. I know that it's a lot of information. So, you know, if you have a pen and paper, definitely keep it handy. And for those of you that watching on the replay as well. Okay. So I'm going to create a dummy post. Just add a new post, and I'm just going to demonstrate how wonderful the shortcodes are. And so this is my ultimate, my WordPress ultimate shortcodes. And so right here, let me scroll down a little bit. If you can come in here and insert a shortcode, and you have shortcodes upon shortcodes, headings, dividers, pull codes, list, expand, YouTube videos, whatever you want to do. My favorites are the note, tooltip, box. You can even make, there is one where you can kind of make like, you know, a pricing tiers. So let's see here. Let's see. I don't know if it's going to be here. No. It used to be. I didn't mean to show you that, but I thought that was cool. But basically, you can come here and choose whatever it is you want. So for instance, like when I'm doing the, I did the start here page, I used the column shortcode. I just came into the column shortcode and did like this. You choose a size 1/3 or 1/4 or 3/4. So let's choose like a 1/4 for the column shortcode, and then you get examples. You get examples of how it's used. It shows you exactly how things will look like. So this is when you have a full width, when you have a half width, when you have 1/3 width, and so on and so forth. So it just adds a lot of functionality and allows you to put different things into your site that you wouldn't otherwise be able to do if you didn't have the shortcode and you needed to code this up yourself. And obviously, you know, you don't, sometimes, you know, we're all not at that place where we can code just yet. And so having these shortcodes to help you just add a lot of functionality to your site is helpful. All right. All right. And the last one I talked about was Pretty Link Light. And Pretty Link Light basically allows you to mask links so that it's not ugly, so that if I wanted to share, let's say you have an affiliate link, because one of the purposes of us being of us blogging is being able to make money, right? Correct. So let's say I have a short link. For instance, I do have a an affiliate link for Creative Market. I can't remember it now, but or yeah, whatever. I mean, you get the point. But if you had an affiliate link or something, you could just put that. Let's say I have an affiliate link for Fat Cow. I could just come here, put my affiliate link here, and instead of having that, sharing that, I would make it where my onlinebizjourney.com/ I change that Fat Cow. Okay, and I'd create it, and then once I create it, I'm able to share that with whoever I want to share that with. I can tweet it out. I can share it on Facebook. I can share it in blog posts without people, you know, it's just masking it, because sometimes the links look really ugly and it's so obvious it's an affiliate link and it just kind of turns people off. But if you're sharing it in context of your website and people trust you, then it you know, that trust factor plays into it, and people can you know, will click on it most likely. Okay. All right, great. So those are my 10 must-have plugins for your WordPress site. I've already talked about, now let's stop sharing for a minute. I've already talked a little bit about protecting your site, right? So first things first, passwords, okay? Make sure that your passwords are really strong. That's number one. Number two, make sure that you're not using admin or username or user as your sign-in. It's a dead giveaway. All right. So these two things are the entry level. All right. Then of course, make sure you're updating your plugins. Make sure you're updating your themes. If there are themes and plugins that you do not use, get rid of them. You don't need them. Get rid of them. Don't just leave them lurking around and forget to update them and then have people insert malicious things into your site. Okay. Make sure that whoever has access to your WordPress site you absolutely trust, and you're not throwing passwords everywhere. Sometimes, you know, we will name the passwords after our dogs or after kids and stuff like that. And we, you know, right now, one of the things that hackers are doing is that they can pretty much peruse your social media profile and steal your information. So if there's sensitive information about you that you don't want anybody to know about, don't put it out there. And I feel like that's, you know, I love social media, but that's the flip side of social media, is that now people know too much about us, and because they know too much about us, they tend to use it against us, you know, and it's not nice, it's not the best, but it's the way the world is. And so make sure that if there's any such sensitive information, people sometimes will just want to get, like, you know how when you go sign up for a credit card or something, they'll ask you, what's your mother's first name, or what was the first street you lived on, or stuff like that. And sometimes they just need to guess one thing about you to be able to get all your information, and they may not even necessarily need your password. But those verification questions you answer before you sign up for stuff, people can use that as a way to get into your stuff. So please just make sure that if there's any such insensitive, don't be sharing that sensitive information. Okay. All right. So that's website security for you. It's the lowdown on protecting. And if your web host, I don't use the security features that my web host provides, because it's just extra money that they're charging me sometimes. And you know, if you have to, you can invest in that. But if you ever find that your site has been hacked, do contact your web hosting company. Tell them what has happened. Sometimes they'll offer to do the cleanup for you. And like I said, back up your site. Back up. Because in the worst case scenario, at least you'll have a backup of your files. And, you know, if you contact your web host, they get rid of the malicious files. Sometimes they'll do it for a fee. Most likely they'll do it for a fee. Then you can have your site up and running within a few hours or a day, because you have your files already backed up. So go pay attention to the plugins I talked about: website speed, website security, spammy comments, all those things. Protect your site from all these things. Okay. All right, great. So now let's talk really quickly about driving traffic to your site and also building an email list. Okay. Wow, our time is really gone. All right, stick with me for a few minutes. We're about done. All right, so let's share my screen. All right. Great. So now, driving traffic to your site, that's one of the biggest things, right? We talked about that. Okay. So now let's talk about driving traffic to your site. My favorite way of driving traffic to a site is social media, obviously. I talk about social media a lot, but it is with social media, and it's because it's free, for the most part. So my favorite platforms are Twitter, Pinterest, and Facebook. And currently I'm using Facebook as to even promote some of my blog posts. Why not? Because paid advertising has been used from time immemorial to do different things, different purposes. People use TV ads to promote, their products and get people to notice them. So if you have something to offer and you have a little bit of money, then I don't see why you can use Facebook ads. You may not see a return on investment immediately. I have to confess, you may not see it immediately, but personally, it's been worth it for me in terms of driving traffic to my blog. Twitter is great if you can tweet your post out several times a day. And sometimes people will say to me, well, wouldn't that, don't my followers get tired? The truth is, Twitter is a really quick and fast platform. Okay. And sometimes, I may have 20 tweets, and my followers may see one tweet, because unless they go to my actual Twitter profile, they only see your tweet is only in their feed for maybe 10 seconds. Maybe 10 seconds. So tweeting it out several times. Of course, you don't want to just be tweeting out your content. Tweet out other people's content as well. But Twitter, Pinterest is also great for traffic. I create those large elongated images on my blog for this particular purpose. It creates as a wonderful blog image for my blog, and then I can pin them to Pinterest as well to drive traffic to my blog. And I do have a whole class on Pinterest that you can check out later on. Blog link ups are the other one. You can go to google.com and just type in blog link ups and find blog link ups for different niches. I mean, blog link ups for days. So that's definitely something that you can do. I don't do blog link ups as much. What blog link ups what it is that you go to somebody's blog, you leave a link, and it's just kind of sharing, just sharing it on somebody else's blog who's hosting the link up. And I've gotten some pretty good traffic from that, because if they're a huge blog and then they do like weekly features, there are times I've done blog link ups and my blog has been featured as the blog of the week, and then it's driven a lot of traffic back to my blog. Okay. Video marketing is the next one I want to talk about. Periscope, YouTube, Vine. All right. So you can get on here and on there and talk about this. The way I met a lot of you is through Periscope. I've made some really good friendships because I'm using Periscope. Because, when you're blogging, people hear your voice in your writing. But when you put video and you put a face to that voice, now what you have done is that you've put your voice in their heads, and when they're reading your content, they hear your voice. It's funny, but it's true. There are a lot of people that I follow that when I'm reading their blog posts, I just imagine them speaking, because I know what their voice sounds like, because I've seen them on video. Use that to your advantage. Periscope is a great platform. I love Periscope. It's a great platform to be on because it's live streaming. It doesn't have to be perfect. You get immediate feedback. You're able to chat with people in real time. It is great. I love it. YouTube is another great one. We all know about YouTube. Second largest search engine in the world. Definitely should be on there, and using your headlines properly so that you can get found. I haven't figured out Vine, but it's certainly another video platform that you can be on. If you're like me and you write about business and freelancing and solopreneurship and social media, Biz Sugar is another place where I promote my content. I also do Stumble Upon, and basically anywhere you can share this with people. All right. Now, that is how you're going to start getting traffic to your site. Sometimes people just want to kind of sit around and be like, oh, well, I'm just hoping that Google finds me. That's not going to happen. You have to actively share your content. You have to actively promote your content. In fact, I've heard some of the larger bloggers say that, blogging is 20% content creation and 80% promotion. And I kind of agree with that. I mean, I think you should pay a lot of attention to the content you're creating also. But if you're not actively promoting your site in all these ways, nobody's going to do it for you. Nobody's going to do it for you. So jump in the Facebook groups, and when you get in the Facebook groups, if there are opportunities for you to share your content, then do it. I mean, of course, you never want to do it in a way that is spammy or disrespectful or against the rules, because there's some Facebook administrators that absolutely frown on, you just plugging your link every time you get a chance, right? So don't do that. It's not nice. But if you, they have promo days in the groups, for instance, then that's a great opportunity for you to share your content. Social media, become active on social media. I remember there was some time ago, there's a lady that was like, well, I want people to come to my blog, but I don't know how. And, and I went ahead and shared a lot of stuff with her. And then at the end, she just was like, well, I know about all that stuff, but I just don't do it. Well, if you don't do it, well, you're not going to get traffic, and especially in the beginning. When you're starting out, you absolutely need to be actively promoting your content. Share it wherever you have an opportunity in the most non-spammy way possible. And, when people do land on your blog, try to build a relationship with them, because first impressions are great, but if you find a way somehow to connect with the reader, then you have a reader for life. So don't forget that, your little etiquettes and things that you learned when you were a kid about, making friends. That's how you roll on the internet. Make friends. A big one that I didn't put on here, which let me come on here and talk about it. Okay, so this is a big one. Okay, I'm going to talk about this because I find that sometimes we miss out on this as bloggers. Build relationships with other bloggers. Don't see other bloggers in your niche as competition. Build relationship with bloggers in your niche, because so if you blog about bee farming, then find a way to form relationships with somebody else that talks about bees, who may be at the same level as you or bigger than you. Okay, so you absolutely want to do that, because that gives them, I won't easily link back to a blog who's not really my friend, or who I haven't really built a relationship with. If they email me, like recently, I had somebody email me and say, hey, I wrote this great blog post, and would you share it with your audience for me? Would you add it to your blog post? And, I could have done that. I don't mind that kind of stuff. But I'm beginning to get a lot of those emails. And eventually what's going to happen is that I'm only going to pay attention to the people that in some way or shape or form have made an effort to build a relationship with me. Because if the only thing you want from me, or from and you just put yourself in any blogger's shoes, if the only thing you want from them is to share your content, well, that is selfish, isn't it? Without you giving anything back. So add value to other bloggers, and you'll find that a lot of value will be added back to you. And that's the way that you can be found by more people than the people that you're just promoting your content to. So let's say that I build on a perfect example was Sue Ann Dunleavy, right? I started building a relationship with her through Triber. I found her through Triber, and I started commenting on her blog posts and thanking her and stuff like that. And the time came where I wanted to start guest posting. And so I emailed her and I pitched a guest post, and she said, absolutely. And then she went and said, every time you write a blog post, which I haven't taken her up on yet, she said, every time you write a blog post, I want you to email me and I'll share it. And she has thousands of followers. She, gets hundreds of comments on her blog posts. She definitely is somebody that I could get a lot of traffic from, so for her to endorse my work, for her to say, yes, you can guest post on my site, for her to say, yes, send me your links and I'll share it out for you. That happened because of relationships. It wouldn't have happened without them. So make sure you pay attention to that, in building relationships, building meaningful and genuine relationships with other bloggers. It's going to get you ahead more than you think. And it's going to open doors to places that you wouldn't have been able to go if you were just, minding your own business. So this is really going to be you pushing. I know a lot of us don't want to be self-promotional about our stuff, but think of it as you have something to offer the world, and you have an opportunity to do that through your blog. If you see it as that, maybe it doesn't look and sound as self-promotional, All right, great. All right, last but not least, I want to talk about email collection, email marketing. And so I personally think that if you're going to start building an email list, MailChimp is the best that you can use. MailChimp, MailChimp.com. Why do you want to build an email list? Hello. You want to start making friends and telling them about your stuff. An email list is a great way to do that. So start building an email list. When should you start building an email list? From the day you start your blog, okay? Have some kind of sign-up form. have some kind of freebie, a useful freebie. If you have a parenting blog, you know, think about 10 ways to have well-behaved kids by this weekend. Who does not want that? Oh my goodness, I have a 2-year-old boy, and let me tell you, all the times when I've just been like, oh my word, you know, and I've gone online, like recently, my son was being really, really whiny, very whiny, and I was getting very frustrated. And this is the essence of everything we do, guys. Everything we do is, if you can solve a problem for somebody, then your content is meaningful. It may not, you know, and you will meet people on different levels in their journey. So like I was saying, at different points in their journey, and your content may be the answer to exactly what their problem is. And for me, that's what happened, right? So my son was being whiny, very whiny. He was getting really tired, and I just wanted to find a solution. So I just typed in to Google, my child is being whiny. And immediately somebody's parenting blog came up. And when it came up, I clicked on it, and it gave me the perfect solution. And guess what? That night, I tried to implement the solution they gave me, and it worked. It worked. Now, I didn't bookmark that website, and I don't think they had a whole lot going on in terms of email marketing. And also, it wasn't something that, you know, I'm not always in the market for looking for parenting tips, but there may be somebody who is. So an opportunity for you crops up. You solved this problem for this parent who was looking for a solution to their whiny child. They found a solution, they applied it, and it worked. Of course, they're going to come back. If I was a good, you know, person, a better person, I would have bookmarked that page and gone back to that website every time I find myself in a parenting dilemma. Okay. But even better than that, on bookmarking, is for me to sign up to that person's site. And so if that person, I went there, and then that person had a freebie that said, here are 20 more ways for you to have a wine-free child, I would have signed up for that and gotten that freebie so that I can have a wine-free child. Because anybody who's a parent knows that when you have whiny kids, man, it drains you. You know, so create something people want, create something that solves a particular problem, and give it away for free. It can be something that is super valuable. I gave this all away for free. This is something that people pay me to do for them, you know, and so I could have charged for this, but I didn't, because I know that there are people that have WordPress as a pain point who need a solution. And this class, I help this class as a solution, you know, even if it's a beginner solution for them, so that they can start, you know, on their sites and be confident about what they're building. So absolutely create something that is a solution for whoever you're targeting, all right? And then use it as an email freebie so that you can always email those people, tell them about your new blog post, tell them about your new products. And if you nurture that relationship, it can go on to be relationships where they're giving you money. You know, if you probably have heard, the money is in the list. It's true. You know, these people trust you, they love you, you help them solve a problem, so they will be happy to give you their money, you know. So yeah, and that, guys, brings us to the end. Let me see. Oopsies. What did I do now? Okay. That brings us to the end of our class. I messed with something. That brings us to the end of our class, okay? So I went through, I told you, I promised you that we would go through plugins, we'll go through themes, where to get them, the best places to get themes. I hope I covered all of that and that was helpful. once again, if you have questions about any of these, the best way to do this is to join the Facebook group. You can go to facebook.com, look for DIY WordPress Ninjas, okay? And I will be in that group giving daily support to people that are building their WordPress sites. There'll be other community members that may be able to help, that can help you. But basically, this is a supportive community that I've created to help us all build our sites, build our businesses, drive traffic, and get to the goals that we've set for ourselves for our blogs and our businesses this year. So make sure you join that. If the link should be in the email I also sent if you already signed up for this. But if you didn't get that link, then this is your verbal link. Go to facebook.com DIY WordPress Ninjas and join over there. So thank you guys for hanging out. All of you that were able to come stay for the entire class. Those of you that dropped off, those of you watching on the replay, thank you so much for joining me. I hope this class was valuable to you. Have a great night, all right? And I hope to see you all in the Facebook group. All right, bye-bye.